Okay, let's talk about a feeling that so many founders and really any high achiever knows all too well. It's this paradox, right? You're moving faster than ever, your calendar is packed, but you feel like you're constantly falling behind. Well, today we're going to tear down the architecture of that feeling, and I'll show you why the problem has nothing to do with your calendar.
So let's just start with that question. I mean, really think about it for a second. Why do you feel chronically behind, even when you're so busy? You're filling every single minute. You're trying to optimize every task. But at the end of the day, there's just that nagging feeling that you're somehow losing the race. If this sounds like you, I promise you are not alone. This is a pattern, but its root cause is probably not what you think it is.
We like to call this the hustle paradox. It's that completely exhausting state of being in constant motion, yet it feels like you're making zero actual progress. It's like you're on a treadmill. You keep cranking up the speed, running harder and harder, but the scenery just never, ever changes. So let's get into why this is happening.
And man, is this feeling frustrating. It's so easy to start thinking, maybe I'm just bad at time management, or maybe I'm just not built for this pace. But what if it isn't about your effort at all? What if the real issue is the invisible operating system that's running in the background of your mind?
Now, this is where we reframed the entire problem. See, conventional wisdom tells us to fix this feeling with a new productivity app, a better to-do list, more discipline, right? But the real cause, well, it's a fundamental error in our belief architecture. It's about the way we've been taught to think about time itself. So this error in our thinking, it creates something we can call the scarcity tax. I want you to think of this like a hidden tax on your performance. It's one you don't even realize you're paying every single day, and it's just silently draining your focus, your energy, and your effectiveness. Here's how it works. When you operate from a core belief that time is scarce, you pay a tax. You pay it with rushed and, let's be honest, often poor decisions. You pay it by constantly overcommitting because you're trying to outrun that feeling of not enough. And ultimately, you pay for it with your own drained energy and capacity. It literally becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. So what does paying this tax actually look like day to day? Well, see if any of these symptoms feel familiar. A constant, low-level sense of urgency, even when nothing is on fire. Saying yes to way too many things. Your boundaries just kind of disappearing. Trying to multitask, but not really focusing on anything. You find yourself just reacting to your day instead of proactively shaping it. Look, this isn't a character flaw. These are just symptoms of paying the scarcity tax. All right, let's make this real. This isn't just some abstract theory. Let's look at the anatomy of a rush schedule with a quick case study, and you can see exactly how this plays out. This quote is from a founder we looked into. You know the type, starts early, works late, incredibly productive, but she always felt like she was running out of time. Her days never felt spacious, they just felt tight, constricted, and super stressful. And when you looked at her calendar, it was full, sure, but not totally insane. So where was all this pressure coming from? And here's the diagnosis. The pressure wasn't coming from the outside world, it was coming from inside. It was being generated by one single incredibly powerful belief. I never have enough time. That one thought, that one little piece of code was dictating her entire behavior, forcing her to rush, to stack tasks with no breathing room, and to live in a state of constant deficit. So if the problem is a faulty operating system, what's the solution? Well, you install a new one. Let's call it the Spacious Decision Protocol. And let me be clear, this is not another productivity hack. This is a fundamental upgrade to the architecture of your thinking. This is the core of the new system. This is the belief we're going to install. And notice the wording here. It doesn't say I have unlimited time. This isn't some fantasy. It's a grounded, realistic, and frankly, powerful belief that you have the capacity to focus on what is truly important. The process itself is actually deceptively simple. It's just 2 steps. First, you have to become aware of the old buggy code. You have to identify that belief that's creating all the pressure. For a lot of us, that's I never have enough time. Then, you just consciously and consistently start replacing it. You install this new, more spacious belief in its place. And what's amazing is, when you change that core belief, the actual mechanics of your day start to shift, almost automatically. Your pace just softens. You're not rushing anymore. Your choices become more thoughtful, more strategic. Saying no suddenly becomes an act of clarity, not an act of deprivation. And then you start to see it. Actual, literal white space appearing in your calendar between commitments.
This whole transformation, really, it's about shifting from a state of frantic hurry to one of what we call grounded momentum. It's about you taking back control of your own story about time, and by doing that, taking back control of your business and your life.
So this is the strategic choice that every leader has. You can keep operating in a state of reactive hurrying, which is always driven by a feeling of scarcity, or you can choose grounded momentum, where your actions are guided by a deep sense of clarity and purpose. One is absolutely exhausting, the other is sustainable and, believe me, way more effective.
If you take one thing away from this, let it be this idea. Time itself isn't shrinking. Your beliefs are shrinking your capacity to use it. The moment you change those beliefs, you literally expand your experience of time. So, I'm going to leave you with a question to think about. What is the one core belief that's really running your schedule? Is it creating constant pressure, or is it providing you with grounded clarity? Because the answer to that one question, well, it changes everything. If you're ready to stop paying that scarcity tax and you want to start building that grounded momentum for yourself, reshaping your time story is the clear next step. For some really great guidance and tools to help you do exactly that, I'd suggest checking out the resources from 365 Freedom. Thanks for tuning in.